are 5 months later. Now you might be wondering where I've been for so long, but you know what, that is just such a big story to get into, so I'm not going to get into it right now. But before I get into today's video, I just want you all to know that this channel is officially becoming a side channel of the main Dawuud M brand. As you see right here is my new main channel. Now if you want to go and subscribe to that, I'll leave the link in the description below and in the comment section. This channel is going to be filled with so much good content coming this summer, not all related to film. But if you do want to go check that out, the link is in the description and the comment section. Now, enjoy today's video and welcome back to the Dawuud M channel.
The long-awaited Black Widow movie. I can't even lie to you, this was the last thing that I expected to revive the Marvel spark hidden inside my brain. This was the least exciting Marvel movie to me. When I first heard of its announcement, the trailers and the teasers, nothing about this interested me until I watched it. Marvel has done it again. They have yet again given an absolute masterpiece with beautiful eye-catching visuals and absolute thrilling beautiful storytelling. But first let's back it up. Why the hate in the first place? Well, 2020 wasn't the best year for anybody, including Marvel. With cinemas across the world closed and movies being halted and delayed so much, interest for the MCU was fading, including my own interest. Hell, if you go back to my Birds of Prey video and you can see me literally compare the color grading and work, I was not in the least bit excited for this movie. Let's be real. During the period of everyone taking in the events of Endgame, DC was pumping out brilliant movies after brilliant movies. Then seeing trailers for Suicide Squad and the Batman and so many amazing DC projects in the works, who realistically was going to remember a movie about, no offense, Black Widow? She was always being overshadowed by Captain America and Iron Man and all the other Avengers. Her solo movie had been delayed so long, the interest in her story was barely even there. But of course, Marvel did it again.
Before anything else discussed in the video, I want to discuss the villain, because I don't think I've ever had genuine hatred for a villain in my life. Now when it comes to characters like Thanos, realistically, was there really hatred for him? Or were you just fazed by the actual damage he did? In fact, I do recall a lot of people saying they liked Thanos. It's been so long since Marvel have made a genuine villain that you've had actual hatred for. When we see Dreykov, we not only see how he affected Natasha, but we see how he affected these other girls too. It makes you kind of think, what type of monster would do this? Exactly. Now, a problem a lot of people have been having recently is Marvel's bland, lifeless color grading. The tiring grey cityscapes and white lifeless color in every shot can be pretty draining, but I won't lie to you, while watching this movie, I genuinely didn't feel any of that problem. I didn't care about the visuals, I was just enjoying the movie so much. But I do agree that Marvel can be lacking in their color recently, especially compared to DC. Here is a comparison between my own color grading and the original composition itself. As you can see, there is a massive difference. Even though my color grading isn't the best, it's true that the color is very lifeless but can be easily adjusted. However, for some reason Marvel decided not to do anything about it. But besides all of that, the true core to this movie is the heart. And here to talk about that today is...
Hello, it's me, Driifty, and I'm here to talk about the final thing in this movie. Taskmaster. The most hated thing that Marvel has produced in recent years, the new Mandarin. It's even been compared to Ralph Bohner, to Steppenwolf, and to be honest with you, I don't understand the hate. I feel as if I'm the only one that genuinely felt something about Taskmaster, and to understand why I felt that, we need to take it back in time. Taskmaster, a villain introduced in the 1980s comic The Avengers, an alter ego of the character Tony Masters. Taskmaster can copy any movement with just his brain and replicate it perfectly. A beloved character to many, so how could the MCU possibly mess him up so horribly that even Taskmaster fans despise the movie for it? It transformed the character completely into the daughter of Dreykov, who relies on tech to fight her opponents instead of learning and reperforming them from her memory. How could Marvel do this? Once again, the MCU have had another beloved Marvel project. Well, to me, and this is just to me, I loved Taskmaster in this movie. Instead of having Taskmaster just be some random dude that wanted to go ahead and fight Natasha because someone told them to, instead this character is filled with layers and ties directly into Natasha's own plot and psyche throughout this movie. Natasha's hurt this child, she's attempted to kill her, blown her to smithereens, and now she's seen that this child is the very person attacking her today. Natasha's entire story throughout the movie is fundamental to her saving the girls in the Red Room, traps just like her, but there's one girl that she didn't save. One girl by her own hand she tried to murder, and that very same person has quite literally come back to haunt her today. How can she live the rest of her life trying to save the other girls when the one person that she truly hurt is right there? This narrative and this link to Natasha fits so perfectly in this very story, and I think Taskmaster was the perfect villain to do this.
Black Widow, or as I like to call it before the movie came out, Bland Middle, was probably the least excited I've been for an MCU project in a very, very long time. You see, to me, the MCU has always been about its redefinition of comic book movies, the mesmerizing storytelling told through this medium, the well choreographed action sequences that leave you with exhilarating thrill, the gorgeous and poppy visuals, but most importantly, the heart. Heart is what drives the MCU. It is why this franchise, this universe, is so beloved to so many people. Without it, these movies would have been nothing but soulless cash grabs, punch, funny, haha, boom. Okay, I don't know what that was, just please ignore that. Which is why I really was not interested in Black Widow at all, because the trailers made it look like it had none of the aspects that made a good MCU movie. The story seemed to be boring as hell, used to be a filler movie, and that's about it. The action looked alright from the trailers, nothing that really stood out, but the visuals, man. The visuals were bland as hell, heading straight to the list of bland MCU movies. Alongside Bland Man and the Wasp, we had Bland Middle and Bland. But the thing that was very unapparent in the trailers was the emotion, the heart, the passion for this project to be made in the first place. And now that the movie has finally been released, and I've watched it a couple of times, I can now say I was so pleasantly surprised. Black Widow was everything I thought it wasn't going to be in the best way possible, minus the visuals. Black Widow is full of heart, full of emotion, raw and powerful scenes. The main reason Marvel got us to care about this movie is through its core theme and emotional weight, the family aspect. The first 10 minutes of this movie perfectly establishes what life was like with this family, how real it was, how close everyone felt to each other. It uses this theme to latch us onto how the family is functioned, how everything seems so perfect. Unfortunately though, within this opening, we also get to see the downfall of this family, the downfall of the relationships, how broken it soon became. Even if the end result isn't perfect, the relationships are real. Specifically with Natasha and Yelena. Starting as strangers, having not seen each other in a very long time, but progressing towards being sisters. This movie isn't afraid to spend time on slow relationship-driven scenes. The family dinner scene is literally one of the best scenes in the MCU and works on so many levels.
Please don't say that. It was real. It was real to me. You are my mother. You were my real mother. The closest thing I ever had to one.
I guess that's the heart of the movie. The realism of the family aspect. Yeah, Black Widow may not be perfect, it has so many problems, but it definitely achieves its goal in producing an engaging, heartfelt story between one broken family.
Did you write the book of love, and do you have faith in God above? If the Bible tells you so, do you believe in rock and roll?
I think today we've collectively explained what makes Black Widow a beautiful, filled with heart and meticulously crafted film that once again pushes the boundaries of the MCU storytelling. We've shown you what makes Black Widow, Black Widow. We've shown you Black Widow defined.